Let's go to item number 8 from Fiscal Services, authorized bond to refund the Building Authority Bond Series 2007 and Capital Improvement Bond Series 2008.
This is a request to the board to authorize issuing capital improvement bond, refunding bond series 2017, and to pledge the county's limited full faith and credit. The Building Authority previously issued $27 million in Building Authority Bond Series 2007 pursuant to Act 31, and funds were used to acquire, construct, furnish, and equip the Human Services Complex, including parking and other ancillary facilities. Kent County also previously issued $14.3 million in Capital Improvement Bond Series 2008 pursuant to Act 34. The proceeds of the 2008 bonds will undertake certain improvements at the Fuller campus and to acquire land and construct a building is now occupied by the 63rd Judicial Court. All things are necessary to the authorization and issuance of refunding bonds under the provisions of the Constitution and the laws of the state of Michigan, including Act 34, have been completed. Since the issuance of the 2007 and 2008 bonds, the interest rates have significantly declined, so it is now in the best interest of the issue and sell refunding bonds in the amount not to exceed $28 million. Staff has determined the refunding both bonds as a single issue bond pursuant to Act 34 will reduce the cost of issuance. To achieve the best possible interest rate, the county must continue to pledge its limited full faith and credit to meet these obligations. The targeted goal for the refunding is to realize at least a 5% present value savings.
So what is it?
Thank you. Is there a motion?
There's a motion.
Yeah, I'll support.
Moved and supported. Okay, questions, comments? Yes, Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sure.
5%.
Yeah, thank you.
What is that in
That-
terms of target as far as savings in real numbers?
In terms of real numbers,
Yeah.
I
I mean, I get percentages,
Yeah,
but
I- I'm going to refer to Steve here on that question.
yeah, I just,
My calculator isn't
Yeah,
working that
well-
quickly in my head.
Hello, Steve. Welcome to
The question was, how much was the saving?
yeah.
Okay, I'll give you two answers on that.
Okay.
In gross dollars, it's about $3.8 million, okay? And on a percentage basis, the all-in tick is about 14.3%.
I'll move it again.
Hey, any other questions or comments? Yes, Commissioner Talon.
Thank you, Chair. I feel a need to channel Commissioner Ponstein, since he's not here, and express frustration with, I think, exorbitant, in my opinion, exorbitant amounts of money that people are making off of this. I over time, have come to share that concern, and also recognize the savings, and I appreciate combining them into a savings. I'm wondering, well, I also want to throw out there, in connection with that, that it feels like we continue to not make use of cash that we have on hand to leverage additional savings for something like this. So I kind of wonder what the breakdown is in that 28 million, how much of it is for the Human Service Complex and how much of it is for the Fuller campus improvements. Do you have a sense of the 28 million, how much of that is for the Fuller campus bonds and how much is for the Human Services project approximately? One paid down more than the other?
The DHS bonds of 2007 are about 18.7 million of this, and the Fuller campus is about $7.4 million of this.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Hey, yes, Commissioner Morgan.
Yeah, I guess, but I think the beauty of these bonds is they are recallable. And if we can take advantage of lower interest rates and save $3.8 million, I just think that overrides everything else. I'd hate to get into the situation again that we get into bonds that aren't recallable. and we don't have the opportunity to do it. So I think we should take advantage of this every opportunity we can for this kind of savings.
Commissioner Antor?
Thank you, Chair. As I'm reading this, how do you know when to pull the trigger when the interest rates have been down for quite some time? And
I'm
you know,
sorry, I didn't get
when interest rates go up and down, right now, they've been down for quite a while, and
Yeah.
now they're ticking up a little bit, from what I understand.
They have been, but for this one, the projection was that we'd be able to do the all-in tick for about 2.38%. Now, you know, you don't know what the interest rate is now, but that was the projection. That is a good interest rate right now.
The other component is
timing.
this, is you cannot recall bonds less than 10 years after
Right.
you've issued them.
And
So-
how far beyond that are we?
In one instance, we are going to call bonds that we can in the 2007, and I think there's a slight arbitrage payment for the 2008 bonds.
Okay. I'm so glad people are paying attention to years and dates and rates. A lot of people don't. I see, you know,
And I will point out that by combining these two bond issues into one issue, we're going to be saving about $90,000 in bond issuance costs.
Commissioner Talon, before you go, I did want to address one of the comments you had made about using the cash we have on hand, and I think part of that ties to our requirements to keep a percentage board policy, right, Daryl?
Fund balance policy.
Yeah, we have a fund balance policy that requires us to have that. So I don't want anyone watching at home think that we have just a bunch of excessive money that we're choosing not to use, when part of that is set by board policy for us to have on hand. So we're following our own policies on that,
Well,
okay?
yeah,
I mean,
The
and
important
this is
thing
not
that-
the first meeting this has come
No,
up with this
and
topic.
talking about refinancing a bond.
We are,
So.
so, which is a good thing,
Yeah.
because it saves $3.8 million.
Commissioner
Okay.
Talon and I will have an offline discussion on the fact that we have to pay our bills until September.
Right, okay. Commissioner Talon, you have another comment?
Well,
Or
I guess
question?
I did, and I'll still ask that, but I guess I have to point out that kind of the irony of what you just said is that actually we have chosen to do that. That this board has made,
Yeah.
to set that aside.
Yep.
So it is a policy decision of ours, and it's a choice that we have made, not to save money in this way, but to set that money aside
Right.
for a rainy day or whatever it is, so it is our choice to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out. But in response to what Daryl said, I appreciated the savings of, what'd you say, $70,000?
90.
So what was the total cost of issuance if,
$149,000.
okay, thank you.
It would have been, if we'd have done two separate issues, it would have been 149 plus 90, so 239.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We'll go on to item 9, from health, revisions to the Health Department fee schedule.
This is a request to recommend to the board to approve amendments to the Health Department's fee schedule and appropriate $75,150 in funding from these fee increases to the 2016-2017 Health Fund budget. State law, the Public Health Code, allows local government to fix and require the payment of fees for services authorized or required to be performed by the local health department. Said fees should not be more than the reasonable cost of providing the service. The Health Department has attempted a fair and equitable fee schedule that captures the cost of services provided and is consistent with surrounding counties. As a result, the Health Department is recommending changes to 12 existing fees and the elimination of 5 fees with an effective date of July 1, 2017. All of the recommendations are detailed in the attached schedule that you have. The proposed fee changes will generate an additional $75,150 for the remainder of 2017. This revenue will be used to cover the cost of contract dog licensing function and improved animal control dispatching and enforcement. Animal shelter staff has worked with the county's purchasing department to identify a potential vendor to provide pet licensing services. The estimated cost for the 2017 budget year is $53,740. The remaining $21,410 will be used for animal control dispatching and enforcement.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Support it.
And support. Discussion and questions. Yes, Vice Chair Hennessy.
I was pleased to see that we haven't increased many of these fees for a number of years, which is encouraging, but I'm curious as to the impact when you increase the adoption rate from $70 to $130, just what everything has repercussions, and if people will be as eager to adopt animals, if this affects our free adoption days and the vendors, the people we work with to offer free adoption days, will there be will we have a bigger kill rate because of this? I mean, I just wondered at all of the implications that could come through this kind of an increase.
Good morning. Good question. What that change actually represents is truth in our fee schedule. Our fee for adoptions for dogs has been $75. However, they're also charged for the veterinary costs, for spay-neuter, for some of the extraordinary veterinary bills that are sometimes required to get these dogs to be, from the state in which we receive them, to become adoptable. And so when that adopting person then checks out, they're often presented with a bill that is in the range of, and I grabbed about 20 of the last ones, and about the 128 range is what we discovered. So that creates some frustration on the part of these citizens who are coming in to adopt. They thought they were getting a $75 dog, and now they're getting a bill for $128. So this is one flat fee of $130, and so we can truthfully present on our fee schedule what that actual cost is going to be down out the door. I don't think it's going to harm our relationship with any of the nonprofits in the free adoption days, because what they have done is they have generally given us grant fees to offset the entire cost or of spay and neuter or of a portion of the adoption fee. So our cost back to those granting organizations will not be changing.
Okay, I appreciate that. So we're just sort of bundling the cost rather than having them.
That's exactly right.
Okay, I appreciate that. So, but may I ask
Yes, you may continue.
So when we're approving this, we're also going to be approving, having a vendor provide the pet licensing services. So that will be a change in how we conduct business. It won't be done internally. We'll basically be approving you to go forward and finding a vendor.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is we've done very little of that in the past. Licensing enforcement is something that has always fallen down on the priority list. Dealing with stray and aggressive animals has always been the greatest priority. So we haven't done a whole lot of licensing enforcement as a standalone service in the community. As a result, we have about 10% of the dogs that we expect are in Kent County licensed. We expect, based on calculations, that there's about 140 to 150,000 dogs in Kent County, and we've got about 12,000 of them licensed. We believe that the responsibility for the dog control, the animal control operations, really is primarily the responsibility of those people who own dogs, and so we'd get that licensing rate up a lot higher than what it is now. This service, this is a private company that does this for communities like ours. We'll be doing dog censuses, doing advocacy in the community, doing the licensing in the community, so that we can get that rate up much higher than what it is now.
Okay, please continue.
Can you just explain, this is just really for information's sake. So right now, when I take my dog to the vets and they need a rabies shot, they'll automatically get a new license.
Sure.
And that will continue?
That will continue.
Okay, so that way we have control, a lot more control than we've had in the past by the way we're doing it through the vets as you get services for your
It's much
animals.
easier to get licensing now than it was 5
Yes.
years ago.
It
because
definitely is.
in year one of the 12% or so that license, and I thank you for that, because that's really the best practice for the health of your dog and for the health of our community, so thank you.
So this company then will be further identifying dogs that are not licensed then?
Yeah, they'll actually be doing census of neighborhood. They'll be walking through communities. They'll be speaking with people at parks and door to door, informing them of the requirement for licensing. They'll be able to provide them licensing right there from the field, and they'll also then be providing us with lists of where the dogs are, so that we can then follow up with enforcement if people don't follow through.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Morgan?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning.
A few years ago, you put in a new system for dog licensing at the local townships. How's that going?
I think it's easier for the citizens, to be honest. You know, the change that we made is we went from having the 1-year calendar-based licensing where everyone's license was due on March 31st. And we've gone to a line to their rabies vaccination, which is a huge convenience for them, and it empowers us to allow veterinarian offices to do licensing as well, because you get your rabies vaccination, that means it's time for a new license. So I think it makes the whole thing much more user-friendly for the citizens and for the vets. However, it has not improved our rate of licensure, because we still have an awful lot of people who don't go to the vet, or they just are out licensure because they don't take it seriously.
Okay.
Commissioner Talon, did you have a question?
Thank you, Chair.
Sure.
A little confused about the revenue changes that are shown here, and my understanding from what I've heard here is that that first line up there, the adoptions, dogs, all residents, that's supposed to include spay-neuter fees, and yet down below there's a 1-year spay. Is that, how is that different, and why is that not zeroed out like some of the other things?
Yeah, so the top line under adoptions, that's our dog adoption fee.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then beneath
Not
that,
the
we have the
licenses.
licenses.
Okay, gotcha. And then, okay, thank you.
Okay.
I had a quick follow-up. We currently have townships that sell licenses for small. Is that replacing this, or is that still going to continue?
That partnership will still continue.
Okay,
We want to make as many
great.
portals
Just
for
checking.
licensure as possible. So the townships, people can get their dog licenses there.
There's a
and then the
specific period that they can do that.
They can do that year-round.
They do it year-round now?
They can do that year-round
Great.
at the township. Not all townships want to participate in that.
Right.
So some have opted out, but there are still a number of township and city offices that do offer licenses through the animal shelter.
Okay, great. Anything else? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We'll go to item 10 from Community Corrections. We're now in double digits. Authorization to submit a grant application and contract approval comprehensive plan.
This is a request to recommend to the board to approve the annual Community Corrections Comprehensive Plan and application for funding under PA 511 of 1988, and to authorize the board chair or designee to execute the grant agreement and approve extensions and changes within 15% of the original award. Public Act 511 of 1988 provides funding for community corrections advisory boards to administer and operate programs that provide alternatives to incarceration for offenders. The state requires a resolution approving the plan submission from the Board of Commissioners. Recommendations regarding the funding for Court Services Department and Sheriff Department Correctional Facility, as well as community-based organizations, will be finalized following nation of funding of the funding level and award of funds from the state and appropriated at that time. The anticipated grant period is October 1, 2017 to September 30th, 2018. It is expected that the grant will be renewable.
Is there a motion to approve? Is there support from Commissioner Voorhees? Questions, comments? Yes, Commissioner Talon.
Thank you, Chair. Comment, well, first to express appreciation for being able to serve on the Community Corrections Advisory Board. The approval of this plan was the first meeting that I got to attend, so it was a learning curve. I hope to be able to keep the board informed about what's going on there moving forward, but wanted to express appreciation for the difficult and hard work the staff put this together, and recognize that it's a pretty diverse board. This is electeds from around the county that takes a look at this, so a lot of work has gone into it.
Great. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair Hennessy, yes?
This is just a point of information. Since we're approving approximately $63,000 from our next budget, the 2018, is that approximately the same amount as we've had in prior years? Or is that increase,
Yes.
decrease, same? Same?
Hi, I'm Nicole Comarello, 17th Circuit Court Finance Director, and approximately it's been around, anywhere between 55 and 65,000 a year, so.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We go to item 11, from the Parks to White Lydell Park Mill Creek Grant Acceptance and Appropriation.
This is a request to recommend to the board to approve the Aquatic Habitat Grant Program Project Agreement with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources for ongoing work to restore and naturalize Mill Creek and Dwight Lydell Park, and to accept and appropriate $257,000 in DNR grant funds to the project. Dwight Lydell Park was the site of a DNR fish hatchery for much of the first half of the 20th century. Mill Creek runs the park and was channelized with high concrete walls approximately 100 years ago to manage water flow in support of the fish hatchery operation. These walls are now failing and in danger of collapse. The channelization itself degrades the quality of the aquatic habitat, exacerbates flood issues, and prevents public access to the creek. The Parks Department has been engaged in a multi-year project to improve various aspects of the park, working toward a complete restoration and naturalization of Mill Creek. To date, the department has received $166,846 in community development block grants to raise grades and improve accessibility, and to reconstruct and expand parking and adjacent trails, as well as $854,594 in 3 CIP awards to remove and relocate the maintenance building from its perch at the edge of a channel wall and begin work on an actual restoration of the creek. The department also applied for and received a grant, $257,600 from the DNR's Aquatic Habitat Grant Program project for continuing restoration of the creek. The $270,000 in required match funds are met with the other funding sources already allocated to this project. The agreement has been reviewed and approved as formed by corporate counsel.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move it.
Thank you. Support it. And support. Comments?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, Commissioner Antor.
Chair? Yeah, my question is, Roger, I'm not sure if you can answer this or not, but I see the department has applied for and received a grant for $257,000. Is that money going to be spent specifically in the park, or does it expand out from there?
That money will be used directly in the park as part of the wall removal project.
My only concern is that creek, I grew up on it. It used to be a creek. Now I'd call it a crick. There's a big difference. You grew up. Creeks and cricks. Creeks are pretty noble. Cricks are kind of not so noble. But
I'm glad you explained that.
oh, I could tell you all about Mill Creek. Matter of fact, every kid should grow up on a creek. But anyhow, it has, over the years, not retained as, up north as you get up through Comstock Park and up towards Sparta. It's not as nice as it used to be, but kind of curious if you know if there's anything that they're going to do, the state, if they're going to fix try to fix this little area. They have any plans, you know?
No, we're fixing this whole
Are you-
area, they're not.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stay within our park boundaries and.
Okay. Okay, and I'm great, I understand, having been there, I understand all the problems with those walls and everything, and it needs to be, for a lot of different reasons, be cleaned up. I just don't want to be putting lipstick on a pig as far as when it comes to that entire creek. I wish they would, you know, they being or does such things, clean up that entire waterway, because it really was a beautiful creek at one time. So that was it. Thanks, Roger.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Commissioner Talon.
Thank you, Chair. This seems like a really cool project to me. I also thought another project that is happening in the southern part of the county to restore a stream was really cool too, but there's been considerable pushback on that. Did you face any of those kinds of issues with this project? And
No.
Just a different situation?
Different situation,
Okay.
different reason, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Well, I'll just make a comment that I'm always impressed and pleased when we go after and achieve grant funds, because those are wonderful additions to projects. So I think that's a great compliment to our Parks Department and other departments that do watch and successfully to make these projects easier to financially handle. So well done, Roger.
Very good.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us to miscellaneous. Is there any Commissioner miscellaneous this morning? Yes, Commissioner Antor.
I just wanted to convey my condolences to the family of Fritz Wallfield. Unfortunately, I was in Florida and I missed the funeral. But Fritz was an iconic figure, I could call him, throughout northern Kent County. Everybody knew him, and I don't know anybody that didn't like the man. He just had a great spirit about him. Always had a smile on his face, and I thoroughly enjoyed his stories. He has some great stories to tell. And I think some of them were really even true. I don't know, but just totally entertaining. And I remember the first time I ever met him, I was actually a kid. We just moved into the area, and my dad knew him. And he took me over to his garage, and Fritz was out in the garage making beer, which I had never seen before. He was making beer. So he was like a guy way before it became cool. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. But he's going to be missed throughout that entire area. He did a lot of philanthropic things that were kind of off the radar screen, especially for veterans out at the Veterans Home and that beautiful park they have down there. And those were the more notable things, but he also did, him and his family business, they did a lot for veterans and other people in that area. So I just wanted to convey my condolences to his family.
Thanks. Yes, Commissioner Womack.
Yes, and in memory of Fitz Warfield, I just would like to say, as I've been seeing Commissioner he's being so adamantly fighting for the zoo, and also the appreciation of Tom Antor's, Commissioner Antor's support of this park today and some of the changes there and upgrades. That one thing Fitz ran on was, we wanted above average zoos and parks. So I just say this year, while we're keeping that in mind, that we do, carry that spirit into some of the issues we'll be looking at and budget items we'll be looking at this year. Fitz. Because when I moved back to Grand Rapids, that's one thing that I wouldn't say I took it for granted, but until I got a chance to study more on Fitz Warfield, I was like, that was something I always knew, that we had above average parks. Our zoo was above average. When there were other counties I would visit, and it just wasn't the same feeling of when you come back home to Grand Rapids. And a lot of the things that this commission has done history is one of the reasons that I did move back to Grand Rapids, Michigan from New York City. So.
Great. Any other? Yes, Commissioner Morgan.
Yes, Madam Chair, rather quickly, we're in the process of completing our strategic plan out at the airport, the Ford, and we'll be discussing it at the May meeting. And at some point in time, Darrell, I'd like to schedule Jim Gill to come for a presentation to the board, or just an update.
Scheduled through Pam.
Pam, right? I'd like to do that probably in the fall.
For the board or for the finance committee?
For the board.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Anything else for miscellaneous? Okay. Okay, seeing none, we are adjourned. Our next meeting date is Tuesday, June 6th at 8:30.
Safe streets, vibrant neighborhoods, successful business and commerce. These are things that make a healthy community. We are a diverse community, rural, suburban, urban. A multitude of languages and ethnicities, ages and experiences. We are a collaborative community. Public-private partnerships make us a model community that others want to follow. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us strong. The employees of Kent County reflect our diversity and seek to serve our communities.
People in this county, in this area, we wrap our arms around each other. We come together to collaborate, to solve problems. We're all working for the good of the whole. And I think that's wonderful. And you can see it. You can see it as you drive around Kent County.
Our impact starts the day a baby is born and a birth certificate is issued, to protecting children from deadly diseases through vaccination, to the public safety and justice provided by law enforcement and the courts, to offering veterans services and caring for the elderly. Every day we work to keep our communities robust.
I think if you are somebody who's interested in serving your community, in building a strong knowledge base and a good group of people to work with, then the county is one of your best employment opportunities out there. It's been completely rewarding in every way I could possibly explain for 26 years, and I feel like I grow every single day still today.
Leading these dedicated employees, our 19-member Board of Commissioners and our County Administrator Controller, along with our elected officials and appointed department directors, placing emphasis on civic involvement, quality housing, vibrant neighborhoods, and strong, solid infrastructure to allow businesses to thrive. Professional, dedicated, collaborative, and innovative.
Behind the scenes, collaboration between foundations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses, public sector demonstrated through the county, the city of Grand Rapids, the townships, all the cities and the villages in our area. If we don't come together, then we will not have the strength that we have today, and I only hope to build upon that.
Our aim is to make our communities the best they can be. We are involved in exciting development projects, sustainable recycling programs, and creative progressive prevention programming. We partner with elected officials, impacting policy ideas that become great achievements. We seek opportunities to reach out into the community and offer our services to help our residents make Kent County thrive.
Our relationship is solid, both from a staff standpoint at the county level as well as the Board of Commissioners. And they understand what we do and the benefits that we can do for the community, and vice versa. We couldn't do what we do without the help of Kent County.
While most of us are busy running our lives, Kent County's elected officials, administrator controller, and over 1,600 employees are serving the communities where we live our lives, so we can all have a place we are proud to call home. Kent County, its life well run.